All right, so welcome to your practice. So glad that you have joined me tonight or today, whenever you're choosing to practice. We will get started on our backs in Shavasana. So again, the knees can be bent with the knees touching at center if that's more comfortable for your low back to begin, or the legs out long, arms by your sides, palms face up. Make any little fidgets or wiggles you might need to feel more stable and at ease. And you can gently flutter the eyes closed or let them be at a soft gaze, not focusing on any one thing. And so to begin, we'll take a moment or two to check in. So scanning the body and noticing any areas where you might feel tension or sensitivity that you want to be aware of during your practice. And intending to take care, be gentle with those areas of the body. And then allow your mind to focus on your breath. No need to change the breath in any way. We're just noticing again where we begin. So noticing if the breath is shallow or deep, if there are any pauses or rough parts in the breath. Maybe where you feel the breath or sense the breath most prominently in the body could be the belly or the throat or the chest. Just taking these answers as information. And then take a moment as you let the breath find its natural pace and start to smooth and even. That's the question, how is my mind doing at this point at the beginning of my practice? So the quality, the pace of the thoughts, the mind feeling dull or very active, distracted or focused. Again, just taking this as information. And as the breath continues to smooth and deepen, maybe the chest becomes more quiet and the belly becomes soft with the inhale and exhale. The practice this evening, or whenever again you're practicing, is a well-rounded hatha practice with a focus more on the center channel of the body, so the spine, the hips, the pelvis, that kind of stabilizes us and makes us feel strong, like we have a foundation somewhere where we move from and go out into the world from. So we'll return to our center here, some strengthening, some mobility work in that, along that central channel of the body. And the question becomes, what returns you to your center? Whether it be mental, emotional, or physical. What returns us to our center? So as you're ready, bring the feet a little bit closer together, extend the legs long and reach the arms up and overhead. So full body stretch from fingers to toes. Keep the breath easy. And then maybe point the toes and then pull the toes back. Point the toes and pull the toes back. And then as you keep the feet flexed, stretch through the right side a little bit longer from heel through the fingers. And then through the left side a little bit longer, push the heel away, reach the arm away. And then again, just alternating back and forth. So reaching through one arm and leg, and then through the other, getting a full body stretch. And now reach through both arms and both legs, flat on your back, reaching, getting a little taller, a little longer. And then go ahead and release. So keep the arms up and overhead, and the next time you exhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest and hug it in with the hand. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead, the legs long. And exhale, draw the left knee into the chest and hug it in with the hands. And then move back and forth like that. So one knee into the chest as you exhale, and then as you inhale, lengthen from fingers out through the heels. So we're just starting to get the coordination of the body and the breath. And again, smoothing out any rough edges we might find in the breath, and that will translate into a nice smooth movement in the body. And then the next time you draw the right knee in towards the chest, stay. So you can hug behind the right thigh with the hands or in front of the chin. And find your breath here. So allow the shoulders to soften. Allow the jaw to soften. And if you'd like a little bit more challenge, then go ahead and hover that left leg just above your mat. Draw the navel down. And again, find your breath. Move the breath into the side waist. Keep breathing. You can stay here or start to lift the upper body. Look towards your left toes. Draw the navel towards the spine. And again, more than the posture, find that smooth, steady breath. And then last option is to release the arms, reaching for the toes and breathing here. Shoulders soften, jaw soften. And then we'll grab a hold of that right leg again and release the left leg and the head down. Pull that right knee in one more time. And then stretch long. Reach both legs away, both arms overhead. And draw that left knee in towards the chest. So we'll take that to the other side. So to begin, let the back body be heavy. And find that smooth, steady breath. Draw the navel in, option to hover that right leg just above the mat. And then again, feel free to stay and cultivate that smooth, steady breath. Or lift the upper body, maybe release the arms. So the breath may tend to want to catch or to hold. Again, we try to soften, find that steady breath. And then release, hands to the knee, release the head down, release that leg down, hug the left knee in. And then release the left foot to the floor, the right foot to the floor. Feel close to your seat here and arms down by your sides. So we'll start to cultivate some stability, some attention around the hips and the pelvis. So as you inhale, let the belly be soft. And as you exhale, press the feet down, squeeze the inner thighs, and then press the low belly down. So a little rock of the pelvis. And then inhale, soften the belly, the inner thighs, and soften the feet. It's a very small movement. Exhale, press the feet down, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the low belly. And then as you inhale, release the belly, inner thighs, and the feet. And then keep going with your breath. So exhale as you press the low back down. And then inhale as you release from the pelvis down through the feet. Just rocking through the pelvis here. Notice if you found any tension in the jaw again, or in the shoulders, relax in the upper body. And then the next time you press into the feet and squeeze the low belly, inner thighs, keep that. Okay. Press into the backs of the shoulders and then lift the hips into a bridge pose. Doesn't need to be the highest bridge you've ever done, okay, just enough. And on your next exhale, release. So we'll now alternate up and down. So as you inhale, press into the feet, squeeze the inner thighs, low belly, lift the hips. And then as you exhale, gently lower down. So we'll keep going just like that. Engage from the feet on up through the low belly, squeeze the glutes, and then release on the way down from the belly down through the feet. Now this is enough for the mind to work with. Keep with this. You're also welcome to add the arms. So the next time you inhale, lift the hips, reach the arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, lower the arms, the hands touch the floor when the hips touch the floor. Just a few more, just like this, whether you're working with just the hips or with the arms. And then the next time you lift the hips, keep the hips lifted, lower the arms down by your sides. And you can shimmy the shoulder blades a little bit closer together underneath you, lifting up on the tops of the shoulders here. And really squeeze the glutes, squeeze the inner thighs, lift the low belly. And then with all of this engagement, find your smooth and easy breath. And then you're welcome to lower the hips and take a break and join us back in bridge pose. I'm going to take some hip tilts. So the next time you exhale, lift the right hip a little bit higher towards the sky. The left hip will lower. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, press into the left foot, lift the left hip a little higher than the right. And then inhale, come back to center. And keep going. So pressing into one foot to lift that hip a little higher on that side. And then coming back to center. About 3 or 4 times on each side. Again, waking up around the circumference of the hips here. When you've done an equal amount on both sides, press into the feet, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. Raise the arms up and overhead one more time alongside the ears. And then as you exhale, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, roll down the spine till the hips touch down, tailbone touches down. And then release the arms down. Nice. So draw the knees in towards the chest. You can hug around the knees if you like and just rock from side to side. So a little release here. You can draw some circles on the low back in one direction and then the other if you like. And then come back to center, release the arms down by your sides and extend the legs up towards the sky. So the legs don't need to be straight. They can be fairly bent. That's just fine. And you can wiggle your toes. We'll just kind of warm up through the joints of the legs here. Wiggle your toes, let the breath be easy. And then circle the feet in one direction. And then the other direction. Turn the soles of the feet towards one another and then away. So inversion and eversion here. No right or wrong way to do this, just getting into the feet. Nice. And then from here, lower the toes towards the floor. Tap the tips of the toes towards the floor. You'll notice your belly's working. And then inhale, release the feet towards the sky. So exhale, lower the feet, and inhale, reach. So continuing to work through the belly, the hips, but getting into a little bit of knee extension and flexion as well. Nice and easy. Great. And then from here, we'll circle from the knees. So circling like you're drawing big circles with the toes in one direction. You can press the low back down to the floor if that gives you more stability. And then the other direction, nice big circles. Extend the legs once again, flex the feet and widen the feet a little bit or a lot. We don't need to go to our end range, just about 80%. And then use the inner thighs to draw the inner ankles back towards one another. So inhale, widen the feet, soften the shoulders, and exhale, draw back in. So nice controlled motion here. Nice. And then the next time you widen the feet just to about outer hip distance or outer shoulder distance apart. And again, we'll start to make some circles with the knees in one direction in this wide orientation, and then other direction. Kind of getting into the hips here now. And then go opposite directions with the feet. So the feet kind of circle in towards one another, kind of like egg beater, the old egg beaters, if you had any of those. And then switch directions. Again, no right or wrong way. We're just getting into the hips here, knees, ankles, etc. Great. Come back to center. Reach the legs towards the sky. Go ahead and shake them out. Shake, shake, shake. Let everything be loose. Great. Draw the knees into the chest, hug them in, and then we'll roll to one side and come up onto hands and knees. So this is where if your flooring is kind of hard, you can place a blanket or a cushion underneath the knees to give you a little more support. So from here, hands underneath the shoulders, fingers comfortably spread, knees underneath the hips. And draw that low belly in and up like you wanted to press your low back towards the sky. And as you exhale, press into the hands, round the spine, tuck your chin, look towards your belly button. And then inhale, soften the belly, reach your heart forward. So exhale, this is cat pose, rounding up through the spine. And inhale into cow pose as you soften the heart forward. And then you'll continue at your own pace. So let the breath guide you. And try to release any holding of the breath. So at the end of the exhale, let your inhale begin naturally. And at the top of the inhale, let your exhale begin. Easy, nice and easy. If you'd like to draw outside the lines here, you can start to circle through the rib cage in one direction, like you're scraping out a barrel here. And again, no prescribed way to do these rolls here. Just make sure you go in the opposite direction. You can let the head move with you or not. And then when you're ready, come back to center. We'll look forward, we'll tuck the toes, and we'll lift the hips, up and back into downward facing dog, just briefly. So upside down V here. If this is too much on the hands, feel free to stay in hands and knees at any time. Okay. Either way, you can wag the hips from side to side. You can bend one knee and then the other. Just kind of feeling out through this posture here. Again, letting the breath be easy. And then we'll look back towards our toes. We'll walk the hands back towards the feet. Lift the hips high into a forward fold. Release your head and neck. And soften the knees here. If you'd like, you can grab opposite elbows and gently rock from side to side, little ragdoll here. If you keep just a little engagement below the navel. And we'll come back to center, release the hands, bend the knees, start to round up the spine, one vertebra at a time. Drop on the low belly to bring you back to or up to standing. And roll the shoulders up and back here. And look straight ahead. Find your mountain pose at the back of your practice space. You can heel toe your feet right underneath your hips. And then hands to heart center. Take a deep inhale. Draw that breath up the front of the body, get a little taller. And then a full exhale, feel that breath cascading down the back body and ground into the heels. Inhaling up the front body, lift a little taller. Exhale, soften down the back body, the backs, the knees, and down into the heels. One more just like that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then look down towards your feet. Take a little walk towards the top of your mat. Pretty amazing what our feet can do. Watching that roll and flex and extend. And to the top of your practice space. From here, we'll reach the arms up and overhead. And you can grab opposite elbows. The elbows don't need to be right beside the face. They can be ahead of your face. The arms are up overhead, and then widen your feet a little wider than your shoulders. You can even turn the toes out. Soften the knees. From here, we're going to side bend to the right. Feel that big stretch. Reach up through that right elbow. And then start to round over and down. Okay, bending the knees a lot until you're in a forward fold. And then reach up through that left elbow, or right elbow as you come on back up and around to the other side. So we're circling to the right, reach up and over with that left elbow. I may have mixed up my rights and lefts, that's okay. Forward fold, and then reach up and over through that right side. One more time. So bend the knees a lot, really take care of your low back here as you fold forward. Use the belly to sideways to come on back up. When you're ready, switch directions. Soften the knees, reach up through that right elbow as you round over and down. And then reach up through that left elbow as you come on back up, press into the feet. And then keep going, nice and slow. And let your breath be easy. So about 2 to 3 times on each side. Just getting some length into the side body here. Nice fluid movement. Come on back to center, reach up, and then release the arms down. Roll through the shoulders. We'll bring our feet again to about hip distance apart at the top of our practice space. Next time you breathe in, reach the arms up and overhead. And we'll widen the arms to a T and twist the upper body to your right. Inhale, come back to center. Widen the arms to a T, twist the body to the left, maybe look over that back hand. Inhale, back to center. Bend the elbows wide, palms face forward. And then press into the feet, squeeze the glutes, lift the low belly, and from there, lift the heart. It doesn't have to be big. So then come back to center. Bring the elbows, the forearms together, the palms together in front of you and gaze down, maybe a little stretch in the back of the neck. And then reach up, tall mountain, and release. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. This time we'll twist the left. So twisting to the left, keep the hips facing forward. And then come on back up, reach the arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, come on back up. We'll take that little back bend, widen the elbows, press into the feet, squeeze the glutes, lift the belly, and then lift the heart from there. And then round the upper back, bring the forearms, palms together in front of you, tuck the chin. Reaching up, press down through the feet, and then release the hands as you forward fold. Soften your knees to forward fold, hands touch the floor of blocks. Lift halfway, so like an upside down L with the body, and then release and forward fold, soften the head of the neck. One more, like inhale. Fingertips can be to the floor or fingertips to the shins if that gives you a little more space. And then release. This time, inhale, reach the heart forward. And on an exhale, step your right foot way back into a lunge. And then that back knee comes down, top of the foot comes down. On a breath in, when you're ready, reach the arms up and overhead into a lunge. And then on an exhale, squeeze the low belly and the glutes and twist towards the left. So towards that front knee, widen the arms. Take a breath here. So the breath will be a bit constricted. That's okay. Let it be smooth. And then come back through center, reach the arms up. And release the hands to the floor. Step back to plank pose. Top of a push-up on knees or toes. Inhale here, reach your heart forward. And then exhale, lower the knees. Send the hips back to child's pose. Walk your hands back towards your knees and sit up on the shins here. Toes can be tucked. And then as you inhale, stand up on the knees, reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, bring that right hand behind you, okay, and down, and reach up through that left arm. Maybe this right hand touches the heel, maybe not. And then come back through center, both arms up. Squeeze the inner thighs, the glutes, low belly as you reach your left hand back and down. You can look down and then come on back up. On an exhale, reach your arms down and forward, child's pose. Release your head. Breathe in, look forward to the top of your practice space and come into plank pose. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Take a few breaths here again. You can move, you can sway, you can lower the knees. And then we'll look forward and step that right foot forward, back knee comes down, top of the foot down. Breathe in, reach the arms up into your lunge. And then breathe out, squeeze the low belly, twist towards your right. and widen your arms. So take a moment here, breathe in, lengthen the spine, and breathe out, squeeze the low belly a bit. Come back through center, reach the arms up, and then plant the hands to the floor, tuck your back toes and step up, forward fold. On an inhale, reach the arms wide, come on up to standing, reach up, and hands to heart center here. So moving along the central channel, moving forward, back, twisting, okay, moving from center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, going at your own pace. Lift the heart and step your left foot back, knee comes down, top of the foot down. Breath into the feet, lift the arms, lift the spine upright, and then take your twist towards that right side. Breathing easy, come back through center, and then release the hands to the floor, step back to your plank pose, top of a push-up. Lower the knees, send the hips back to child's pose, and then walk your hands back towards your knees, and come up to kneeling. Reach the arms up here. Reach the left arm, down and back. Maybe it hits that heel, maybe it doesn't. And then come on back to center. Little rolling camel, rocking camel here. Right arm reaches down and back. And then come back up through center. Lower the hands to the floor, coming back to child pose, lower the upper body. Rock forward to plank. And then back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step or help that left foot forward, back knee and top of the foot down. Press down into the feet to reach the torso, arms up, and then take your twist. Coming back to center, reach the arms up, and then plant the hands to the floor, step up, forward fold. Rise to stand, reach on up. And then hands to heart center, take a moment here. Soften the backs of the knees. So eyes can be closed or gazing towards the floor. You might notice your heart beating a bit more prominently. You might notice the breath a little bit more vigorous. Then when you're ready, inhale up the length of the front body. Exhale down the length of the back body. Inhale up the length of the front body, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway, lengthen. And then step that right foot back. The back heel can be down or lifted. And then as you inhale, press into the feet, lift the low belly, lift the torso and the arms. So we're coming into crescent lunge here. The back knee can be bent. Give your low back a little bit more space. And then find your breath here. And then as you're ready, lower the hands to the floor to frame that front foot. Keep your right hand down and reach that left arm out to the side and up for a twist. This back knee can come down if you need a little bit more stability, or stay lifted. All right, a little challenge here if you'd like. Drop that back knee down. Scoot the right foot to the right a little bit as a little kickstand, and then send that left leg back into half moon pose. The back foot, the left foot can come to the floor if you need more stability. We're reaching in all directions from that central channel, one long line down the spine. And we're going to come out of this the same way we came in, right? So gaze down towards your bottom hand. Use your belly to draw that left foot back forward. Bring your back foot in line with your knee and come back into that twist. Twisted lunge. Lower the hands to the floor, gather around the hips and come back into crescent lunge. Reach the arms up. And then from here, release the hands to the floor, step up, forward fold. Inhale, rise to stand, touch the sky. Exhale, down the back body, heels grounded, hands to the heart. Let's take that to the other side. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Soften your knees. Lift halfway, lengthen the front body, and then send that left foot back. Knee can be up or down. Okay, gather the strength around the spine, the low belly, as you reach the arms and the torso up and find your crescent pose. Now, if this is ever uncomfortable in the shoulders, you can always bring the hands to heart center or out to that kind of cactus shape we did earlier, right? So find your breath here. And then we'll lower the hands to the floor, reach the heart forward. That left hand stays down. Reach that right arm out to the side and up. So notice if you're rounding in the upper back or you're dumping into the posture. Can you find a neutral spine? As my salt lamp in the background decide whether it wants to be on or off. Always an adventure. Nice. And then we're going to take our way towards half moon variation. So hands to the floor, lower that back knee down, and send that left foot off to the left for a little kickstand. From here, send your right leg way back and reach that right arm up to the sky. I think we got into this a little different on the other side. Now we have options. So as you inhale, extend from that back heel through the top of your head. And as you exhale, gather around the center of the body. Come back to your center. We'll come out the way we came in. So look down towards your bottom hand. Send that right foot forward. Back heel in line with the knee. Come back into your twist. Press into both feet as you come back into crescent lunge. And then release the hands way back to the floor. Step up, forward fold. On an inhale, rise to stand. Lift up through the front body. And exhale, hands to heart. Ground through your heel. Great. So feet can be hip distance. If you'd like a little more challenge, you can bring the big toes to touch for our balance here. We make our way to the floor. On an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And you can leave the arms wide, or if you'd like to clasp the fingers and release the pointer fingers, kind of an arrow pointer shape, you're welcome to do that. But either way, you're lifting up through the front body, okay, gathering around the glutes. And from here, start to lift the heels, a little bit or a lot, your choice. So one long line. Find that steady breath. And then keep the heels lifted if you can. You're always welcome to tap them down. Nobody's watching. Just a fun game to start to send the hips back and down as you bend the knees. Reaching up through the top of the head and the arms as you bend, bend, bend. You can lower the arms at any time as you squat down. Nice. And then release the hands to the floor. And we'll come on to hands and knees here. All right, a few cat-cows here to release any tension. If you forgot to breathe during that, now's the time. Great. And once you feel ready, let's come on to the forearms. Just a brief moment for some more abdominal work, focused abdominal work before we come into a little back bend. So coming onto the forearms, elbows right underneath the shoulders, and the hands can be clasped or the forearms parallel to one another. And you can stay here on the knees, lift the low belly, and gaze down towards your thumbs. If you'd like, you can start to walk the feet back and lift the knees up off the floor, coming into a forearm plank. We don't want the butt to be too high or too low. Nice, long, again, central channel work here from the heels out through the top of the head. Okay. And the breath can be challenging here, so try to keep the breath as smooth as you can, taking a rest at any time. And then if you'd like to add this time hip dips instead of hip tilt, lower the right hip towards the floor, and inhale, coming back to center. Exhaling, lower the left hip towards the floor any amount, and inhale, come back to center. You can do about 3 to 6 on each side, keeping the breath as easy as you can through any challenge you might be experiencing, moving from center. And when you're ready to rest, you rest. So when you're ready to rest, come down onto your belly, release your arms down by your sides, and turn your head to one side. Deep breath in through the nose, fill up the low back, mid back, upper back. And a deep breath, maybe out through the mouth. Turn your head the opposite direction. And then turn your head to center here. Feet about hip distance apart. Bring your forearms in front of you and grab opposite elbows. And we'll rest the forehead on the elbows. So as you rest your forehead down, we want to explore making sure that the creasing or the skin of the forehead is kind of being pressed down towards the eyebrows rather than up like we're surprised, right? So kind of a softening of the forehead muscles rather than a pulling back of them. Okay. So crocodile pose here. The toes can turn in or out. What's most comfortable for you. And let your breath move low into the body. So low ribs, feeling them expand as you inhale and soften as you exhale. Nice. Now you may want to stay right here. This is an extension of the spine, so feel free to enjoy this stretch of the front or extension of the front body. If you'd like, you can start to walk the elbows back, lift the head, and gaze down the bridge of your nose. The elbows can be ahead of the shoulders or right underneath the shoulders. And then maybe we release the arms parallel to one another. Okay. So the tendency is to just let ourselves kind of hang out in this pose, which for some intents and purposes is okay. And yet this evening, during this practice, I would invite us to press into the forearms, draw the elbows back. They won't move, but we draw them back. And then engage the low belly just slightly. Maybe engage the glutes just slightly to support, again, that opening of the front body, reaching the heart forward. So a little lift just below the navel, a little lift or squeeze at the bottom of the glutes as we pull the heart gently between the elbows, between the shoulders. Sphinx pose. So we'll be here for a bit of time. Find your breath. Allow it to move low in the body. Be as easy, effortless as you can. Last 2 to 3 breaths here. If you find you need to adjust, feel free to mindfully adjust. And then come back to that steady breath. And when you're ready to rest, reach the top of the head, reach through the top of the head, make a pillow with your hands, and release your forehead down. Just take a moment to fill the back body with breath. Any areas of tension tend to release and soften at every exhale. When you're ready, bend the knees. Just let the feet gently sway from side to side, so nothing too jerky or big. Just a nice gentle sway to rebalance and let some of that go. And we'll take the easiest path possible onto our back, flipping like a pancake onto the back here. And this is where if you have a bolster or blocks or a blanket that you'd like to place underneath the feet, knees bent, feet on the floor or propped up a little bit, totally up to you. Take a few postures or a few movements to start to release some tension here. So again, reach the arms up towards the sky. And then soften the shoulders down. So notice the difference, right? So notice when you reach and kind of the shoulders come out and away, and then notice what happens when you soften the backs of the shoulders down. So reach and then soften. We'll take the arms wide and then reach up, fingertips towards the sky, draw the shoulders up, and then soften the shoulders back down. Widen the arms. Exhale, draw the arms up, reach to the shoulders, draw the shoulders away from the floor, and then inhale, soften the shoulders down, widen the arms. One more time like that. Reach the arms up, reach the shoulders away from the floor, and then inhale, soften and melt the arms widen down. Arms stay down in a T shape here. And we'll do that same idea with the arms on the floor out to the side. So as you inhale, lift the shoulders away from the floor, any amount. And then as you exhale, feel a melting across the backs, the arms, backs of the shoulders as you release. Inhale, lift the shoulders, maybe lift the elbows, keep the backs hands on the floor. And then exhale, release down. A couple more times like that, just feeling that out. Lift the shoulders, maybe lift the elbows, and then release down. Last one here. And release down. So the entire spine is supported here. From here, draw that left knee just above the hip, okay? And take your right hand across the body and press the knee into the hand, hand into the knee. To about 30% of your maximum. So it's not a real big engagement, just a nice press here, breathe. And then release the foot down, release that right arm out wide. Draw your right knee in, just above the hip. The left hand comes across in a gentle press. Once you find that gentle press, take a few breaths. And then release. So take that again, left side, hand comes across the body, press. Take a couple easy breaths. And release. One more time, right knee, left hand. Press. Breathe softly. Half body supported, jaw soft. And release. Draw both knees in towards the chest. And just let the knees and hips sway from side to side. Place the feet back to the floor. You can kind of kick that bolster or that blanket off to the side. We're going to lift the hips and shift them to the right and set them back down. I'm going to take a twist here. Draw the knees in and then let the knees fall to the left. And oftentimes this takes a little bit of shimmying and moving so you feel like the spine is aligned and you feel supported by the floor. All right, so take some time there to move and wiggle. If you're feeling some tension around the low back, the sacrum area, if you do have a blanket or a block or a bolster, you can place that prop between the knees and that might offer some relief. Here in this posture, the goal is to soften. So in our active twist, our standing sequence, we were using muscles of the belly, the back, the core to move into that twist. Now we want to soften. So soften the legs, the hip flexors, the belly, the backs, the shoulders, the arms, the face. Asking that question, what brings us back to center? Something physical? Is it the breath? Is it a thought? Then gather the inner thighs, the low belly to draw the knees back up. Place the feet to the floor and then shift the hips to center. Release the arms down by your sides just for a moment. Just to notice any difference between right and left side. And then arms out to a T. Once again, palms can face up or down. Shift the hips over to the left a few inches. Set them back down and then draw the knees into the chest. And we'll let the knees fall to the right. Again, taking a prop between the knees if you'd like. And kind of moving and adjusting until you find a place to rest. I didn't mention on the other side, but you can also turn the head away from the knees. If you like to move this twist into the cervical spine. Taking some time to scan the body. Where am I holding tension? Can I soften? For me, it's soften the hip flexors or I'm gripping in the belly. Soften there, the backs of the shoulders, the back of the head. And where can I find some space for that smooth, steady breath? And turn the head back to center. Engage the legs towards one another as you bring the knees back up. And then lower the feet down. Recenter the hips. Hands to the low belly. Take a deep inhale into the hands. Soft exhale out. Keep that breath nice and smooth as you lengthen one leg long. And then the other one more time, coming back to that full body stretch from head to toe. You can reach the arms up and overhead. Just like we did at the beginning of practice, you can lengthen through one side of the body and then the other. Flex and point the feet. And then when you're ready, draw both knees into the chest, hug around the backs of the legs or front of the shins, curl into a tight little ball on your mat. And then when it feels right, lengthen the legs long, arms down by your sides. And we'll move into our final resting pose. So if the body has become a little bit cooled off, you might want to mindfully uh, come up and find an extra layer or some socks or a blanket to place over the body. So as we find Shavasana, laying down on our backs, we want to feel comfortable and supported and warm. So the nervous system begins to feel more and more soothed. So making your final adjustment here, the legs long or knees bent to your choice. Down by your sides, palms face up. And gently close the eyes or the gaze, the 10% gaze there. Notice how it feels to be in your body at this point in your practice. No judgment, just taking some mental notes. You begin to once again tune into your breath. And on your next inhale, gently, kindly fill the belly, the rib cage, and the heart, taking a big inhale. You can exhale through the mouth, softening through the heart, the rib cage, and the belly. And 2 to 3 more just like that. So inhaling through the nose, filling the belly, the rib cage, and the heart without strain, and exhaling, softening, letting the back body settle into your mat. 1 to 2 more rounds, just like that. And now allow your breath to come back to its natural pace, in and out of the nose if you can. With the intention to let the breath become more and more effortless as the body rests here. And allowing your mind to let go of any to-do list or responsibilities. There is no work to be done for the next few minutes. And as you let the breath be more and more effortless, bring your attention to the soles of your feet and allow the feet to soften from the inside out. Breath is easy. Soften around the ankles, the calves, shins, the backs of your knees. Soften around the inner and outer thighs and the glutes. Breath is effortless as you watch the belly rise and fall with the inhale and the exhale. Feel that gentle curve at the low back. Soften the ribs, the mid back, the upper back. Each exhale, feel the shoulder blades get a little more heavy, outer shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, perhaps the hands heavy. And soften through the fingers and out through the fingertips. Draw your awareness back up through the arms as you soften around the front of the heart, front of the throat, top to the shoulders. Breath is easy. Relax your jaw, your tongue. Soften the inner ears, the outer ears. Allow your eyes to fall heavy in their sockets. And allow your brain to be heavy in your skull. Take in the entire length of your body, from toes to the top of your head. Maybe aware of that central channel and spinal column, those gentle waves along the low back, the back of the neck, the beautiful way that our spine supports and allows movement and flexibility and motion. And for the next 1 minute or so, allow the mind to float on the breath, from the center again and again. Inhales and exhales easy, the body at rest. Now begin to come back into your body, take in your entire body on your practice space and within the room, feeling that sense of nurturing and care that you've taken for your body, your mind during your practice. And as you feel the breath begin to deepen in its own time, you begin to make some small movements in the fingers and the toes. Again, allowing these movements to come from your center, your foundation. Gently turning the head from side to side, maybe taking a big stretch. Do come back. And then when you're ready, we'll gently roll to one side and rest on the side body there for 1 to 3 breaths. You feel the earth supporting you from without and your breath supporting you within. And then making your way to a nice tall seat that could be on the floor or on a prop or in a chair. Eyes can be closed again or the soft gaze to the floor. And as you sit up nice and tall, take a moment to again assess where you are today at this time. So, how are we feeling? How are you feeling in the body? What is the quality of your breath? Have you affected any change through your practice? What is the quality of the mind? Drawing the hands together at heart center as we close. Taking a big breath in, reach the arms wide and up overhead. Bring the palms together once again and draw them back to the heart. Gently bow the forehead towards the fingertips. And today, as you move forwards, may we flow into the world with stability and ease. And also remember to come back to ebb, to return to ourselves and our inner resources, that central channel, that foundation. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Blink the eyes open and come back when you're ready. And thank you for practicing with me.